Hello, good morning, Happy New Year, and welcome along to Ireland AM, the first one in 2023.
There we go. Can't believe we're back. Dust off those Christmas cobwebs and prepare yourself for a blues-busting bonanza as we chat resolutions, returns, and rapid workouts.
Oh, look forward to that bit.
Rapid, kid.
On the way, we're rounding up your rights when it comes to returning those unwanted Christmas gifts. Have you got any? Have you any funny ones? I'd love to hear from you at home.
Oh, that would be nice.
I think we might have
my
one
mother
or two
tried
funny
hers on and I thought I cracked it this year.
Oh,
She
yeah.
gave it back to me the next day.
Did you? But it's serious effort into it this year as well.
It doesn't matter anyway. Plus, they're probably the worst things in the world. Okay, slight exaggeration. But New Year's resolutions we'll be discussing a little bit later on.
I like them.
Do you? Oh, of course
Here
you
we
do.
go.
Oh, God.
Plus, we're going to meet the inspirational
Journaling.
Limerick woman recently named Carer of the Year for her extraordinary commitment to her family. An absolutely incredible woman.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Now, he survived the festive shenanigans and he's back doing what he does best, making us all smile. Good morning, Derek Hartigan. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, guys. How you doing? Happy New Year. We were getting so used to the 8 o'clock Lions, weren't we? Anyway, we've a wet and windy one out there today. Some heavy showers with an ongoing risk of spot flooding, backed by those fresh to strong, locally gusty southwesterly winds. But guys, because we're into a brand new year, we've got a whole week of fitness lined up for you. And this morning we're going to be taking part in a park hit workout. HIT standing for high intensity interval training. So if that floats your boat, you're looking to burn off those Christmas calories, we've got you sorted later on this morning. How are you set for it? You up for it, lads?
Love it, Derek. I'm all over it. All over. New Year's resolution. This is it. You were saying, Derek said 8 o'clock wake ups or sleep.
And
on.
I was like, sorry?
Yeah, you're more 12 o'clock where with the
At
kids. I've been up
least.
6:30. Delighted.
No.
Right, time to get the news over to Aisling Roche.
Thanks, Tommy. Good morning. The HSE has urged people to consider all options before attending hospital emergency departments. It comes after the Mater Hospital in Dublin urged people not to attend its emergency department with services under extreme pressure, while University Hospital Limerick also says it's managing record high emergency department numbers, with a major internal incident declared as a result of high attendances. Visiting restrictions have also been put in place due to high levels of COVID and flu. Those trying to buy a new home are being stretched to levels not seen since 2009. That's according to the latest report from the property website myhome.ie, which also says the housing market is set to be tested in 2023.
The demand for housing in Ireland remained high towards the end of last year, despite issues like the cost of living crisis, interest rate increases and energy hikes. The latest report from the property website myhome.ie showed the average time for a property to go sale agreed was just 2.7 months, indicating a very tight housing market. Asking price inflation did see a drop towards the end of 2022. However, just 3% of homes listed for sale saw their asking prices reduced. The report says this shows a resilience in the market despite external pressures. The average asking price nationally now stands at €330,000. In Dublin, that's significantly higher at €436,000, while elsewhere in the country, it drops to a median of €283,000. There were just 15,000 properties for sale on the website in the last quarter of the year, an improvement on the same time last year, but still below pre-pandemic levels. However, buyers are still being stretched to a 13-year high, with the final purchase price of a house in Ireland now running at 7.7 times the average wage. Caroline Tuhig, Virgin Media News.
The Inn Kerry are continuing to investigate following a violent assault at a hotel in Killarney. The hotel is currently being used as a direct provision centre. 4 men who received stab wounds during the incident were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, while a number of arrests have been made. Ukraine's president says Russia is planning a protracted campaign of drone attacks in a bid to demoralise Ukraine. Vladimir Zelensky said he had received intelligence reports suggesting that Moscow would launch the attacks using Iranian-made drones. It comes after Ukraine carried out a strike that it said killed hundreds of Russian soldiers in the Donbass region. An investigation is underway in Australia after 2 helicopters collided mid-air, killing 4 people on the Gold Coast. Those who died were travelling in the same helicopter. 3 other passengers are in a critical condition. 2 British people were among those killed. Initial investigations show that one helicopter taking off collided with another helicopter coming into land.
One helicopter was taking off, that's had 7 people on board. Another one coming into land with 6 people on board. Now, they've collided. The one helicopter that was taking off appears its main rotors have collided with the landing helicopter, caused considerable damage to the front section of that helicopter. In the process of that collision, the main rotor blades and gearbox of the helicopter taking off have separated from the aircraft, causing it to tragically crash down onto a sandbar.
Mourners will be able to pay their respects to former Pope Benedict for a second day today as his body lays in state at St. Peter's Basilica. Thousands came to the Vatican yesterday to pay their respects to the first Pope to resign from the role in 600 years. The German, who died on Saturday aged 95, led the Catholic Church for 8 years before stepping down in 2013.
For car insurance, van insurance or home insurance, call the Quote Devil. Unless, of course, you've got money to burn.
Thank you, Ger. Good to have you back. Anyway, Happy New Year to everyone tuned our way this Tuesday morning. We've got a Park It, Work It coming your way into the next hour. So if you're looking to start your year off on the right foot, we've got lots of motivation coming your way in the next wee while. Anyway, let's take an opening look at weather together now, pulling back the curtains on the 3rd of January with Alvaro Valera with us here on cameras. And I have to say, it's a very wet start out there now this morning. We've some very heavy rain through parts of Galway, Mayo, Sligo, Cork, Kerry, Waterford, Wexford not escaping either. So if you are holding dry at the moment, you're the lucky ones out there this morning. Those fresh to strong, locally blustery southwesterly winds. Now right across today, lots of roly-poly weather action. Again, plenty of heavy showers. In fact, some of that rain will be quite heavy, leading to an ongoing risk of spot flooding out there as well today. Very, very windy too. So that mixture of heavy rain and blustery conditions making for a pretty unsteady day out there today. Top temps of 10 to 13 degrees. Tonight then, those showers carrying through across the island, easing back though, becoming less frequent as we edge our way into tomorrow morning. Those winds veering to the west as well, easing back, but still pretty windy as we work our way into your Wednesday morning with overnight lows back to 7 to 9 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in Dublin 7 at the moment. We're back again live at 7:35.
For first-time drivers, young drivers, returning drivers, if you've had an open claim or have had too many penalty points.
The Quote Devil's always got one hell of a quote.
Now, coming up, journalist Adam Higgins will be delving into some of the most eye-catching stories in this morning's papers. We've forgotten that there was news for the past 10 days, so we'll be talking about the news next. Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Independent. Its headline: landlords set for more tax breaks to ease housing crisis. Landlords will be able to write off the cost of buying cookers, fridges and washing machines against tax under plans considered by the government.
State defers a €340 million housing spend. That's the front page of the Examiner. The government has been slammed for failing to spend its 2022 housing budget at a time of record homelessness and a persistent housing shortage.
Buying a home gets tougher is the top story on the Daily Mail. Home buyers are more financially stretched now than in over a decade, as the average property price is almost 8 times the average income.
The Sun leads with Bruna X is charged with murder. Bruna Fonseca's former partner was yesterday charged with her New Year's Day murder.
The Mirror and the Star lead with the same story. Man on Bruna murder charge. A man made no reply to Gardaí when they charged him with the murder of his former partner on New Year's Day.
The Herald also goes with that story. New Year murder victim pinpointed by online posts. Social media posts have proved crucial in pinpointing the precise movements of Brazilian woman Bruna Fonseca in the hours before she was found beaten and strangled on New Year's Day.
God bless her. And finally, the Irish Times goes with consider all options before going to hospital. The HSE warns. The Health Service executive has appealed to people to consider all options before going to a hospital this week in what it predicts will be one of the busiest ever periods experienced by the Health Service. Now, here with the latest on that story and more is political correspondent with The Sun, Adam Higgins. Good morning, Adam.
Morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, like with Bruna Fonseca, that is such a heartbreaking case, and our thoughts are with her family who are coming from Brazil. But we are going to look at the story about the HSE. And everything except 2 hospitals in the country are overrun.
Yeah, and just before the break, we had a final press conference of the year with the newly re-elected Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, and this was kind of the first issue at the top of the agenda on the day. And I remember this was just about 2 weeks ago, and the Taoiseach said that he wanted the HSE to deploy all resources available. So that's using the private hospitals like we did during the pandemic, using overtime as much as hospitals can, and he'd allow and write off all that sort of stuff. And it seems like it hasn't really been enough. It hasn't done anything, or hasn't done as much as I'd imagine he would hoped to solve this sort of an issue, you know.
I mean, I know that we had sickness in our house over the break. I know pretty much everybody I spoke to has been hit by either COVID, flu, some form of strep, whatever else.
RSV, yeah.
And we're just seeing RSV, of course. So, you know, for the nurses and the doctors, like, I have to say I was so appreciative of all the help and everything that they're doing there, but they are pushed to the absolute limit over this period. And this is a period of celebration for everybody else, but they're there having to knuckle down and be totally overstretched.
Yeah, 100%. And I like throughout the year, and they kind of saw this coming. The government knew this was coming, and we hear Minister Donnelly repeatedly warn about a twin-demic. That was the flu and COVID. But I think the rise in other respiratory infections, the likes of RSV, has kind of caught, I think, the officials off guard. And no matter what you can do to prepare, you can't grow the health service that quickly to prepare. You can't hire more nurses, doctors, fill more rooms as quick as they'd want, like, you know. So I don't think they were ever going to be able to deal with this perfectly. And it is something that we're seeing in countries right across Europe as well.
Yeah, see, we were talking about this back in September, I think, because Australia had their worst ever case of flu that they've seen in like about a decade, and we knew we were going to get that flu. That was just going to spread throughout the world. So they did know it was going to happen, but it does, like always, it just appears that Ireland, like, we have no options. Like, it's always just going to be, you're not getting a bed. I know that there were surge beds brought in Ennisnina and Barrington's in Limerick, and that they declared them, and they brought people in who were like on a day off from having worked God only knows how long to try to get them to come into work because they're just overrun.
And to be fair, this isn't really just a winter problem, because we see the HSE asking people to consider all options before going to emergency departments now. Throughout the year, then we've seen the Mater Hospital, for example, have put one out in December saying, please consider all other options before coming to our emergency departments. We're full. But that was their 7th one of those notices that they put out this year. 2 of those were during the summer. So it is a situation that the health service is overcrowded kind of all year round, but in particular when all these illnesses come up in winter, it really puts them under pressure.
Yeah, well, that's it. When you see Cork Hospital, 58 people sitting on trolleys, Letterkenny, 53.
But are we going to see, because we know we're seeing various things happen around the world, is there going to be a call by people in the HSE to be like, bring back masks? Because we're over. I just wonder, like, because it's worse than it was this day last year.
This did come up at that press conference I was talking about with the Taoiseach before Christmas, and he did say he didn't want a mask mandate again. That's something that he didn't want to consider, but he was. And you do hear this message repeatedly when you hear the health officials and people from the HSE on the radio interviews and TV interviews, and they're saying, please consider wearing a mask on the likes of public transport and in crowded situations. So it's something that...
I was on a flight yesterday and there was a couple of people wearing masks on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are seeing it even in shopping centres, different areas like that. There are more people wearing masks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not... So I personally don't want to have to go back to masks. I didn't enjoy it. It's something that I didn't enjoy, but at the same time, everybody did it for the greater good. I mean, at home, we'd love to know, after this period, when you see so many people sick, would you be willing to put the mask back on again? You know,
look at your face. You're like, oh God, no, I don't even want to be saying this.
0896 111 111. We would love to get your opinion on this, because when we're seeing record numbers in the hospitals, when you're talking about more people are in hospitals at the minute than this time last year.
Yeah, and if you've been to a hospital, like, that's the thing, or if you're a GP or you work in healthcare, I know we ask you all the time, but if you get in contact with us as to what the situation was, we would love to hear from you today, because you know, again, it's always the worst, isn't it?
Just pushed to the absolute limit again.
Yeah.
And it's just a shortage of beds, shortage of nurses, like everything just seems to be a shortage, and it always comes to a crux at this time of year.
Yeah, it's not
really
good.
does.
Now, we're going to move on to another story, and this is interesting because you've got a situation where there's almost 80 TDs and senators who are landlords or landowners. And when it comes to tax relief for landlords, like, both those things are going to be conflated. So what's going on with this tax relief for landlords?
Yeah, so this is, as you're right, when anything comes up with landlords, it's always a controversial point, and there's people arguing on either sides of it. So a proposal that Minister O'Brien has kind of just flagged in an interview with The Independent is that he's considering giving small-scale landlords tax write-offs on what's called white goods. So this is cookers, fridges, dryers, washing machines, things like that they would have to buy to put them into their apartments or houses before they rent them out, and they'd get a tax incentive to write off those expenses. So it's something he's considering now. Before the last budget, there was a lot of talk and rumours going around that they were going to go further again for small-scale landlords because there's been this mass exodus. They're all leaving to cash in on the big sale prices that you're getting now, and they're leaving the market, which is putting further pressure on the rental market and pushing prices up. And so there was the idea that they were going to increase their taxes to help them out a bit more, and they never did that. So I think this is something that he's kind of tinkering on the edges here. What small little incentives can they use?
Well, like the government, they want to keep small landlords in the industry because, as you say, record house prices at the minute. A landlord who has a house there that he's not making any money on it because he's having to pay anything.
Up to 40% tax when you're talking about commercial landlords who could be paying as little as 2% tax on, you know, a vulture fund that owns 300 apartments. So if we're trying to keep these little landlords in who are making nothing, it does feel like we have to do something. But then you've got the case of Robert Troy last year where you're like, come on now, lads.
Well, Robert Troy, yes, of course, but he failed to declare. But that's not really, that's just, there's always going to be an issue with the government because they are landlords and it's seen as, oh, you're a landlord. But, I mean, if you're going to tackle, I mean, this is what it says in the Indo, if we're going to tackle the housing crisis, we have to keep small landlords in there because whenever I was renting, I had a great relationship with my landlord and they were great. They came and fixed things and you were able to negotiate rent with them. But all of a sudden, when you're dealing with a cuckoo fund or these big organisations, there's no negotiation with them.
And I think that's something you hear a lot. I mean, our first place that we rented was a small landlord. He had one apartment that he bought during the boom and then he was renting it out to,
that's what's been the negative equity
exactly,
until now,
you know, and it's always that relationship you hear with people and those sort of landlords that are very positive, and I think that's why the government want to fight so hard to keep them in. But I think it's interesting. There's another interview then with the finance minister, new finance minister Michael McGrath, and he says he's not considering any major tax changes for landlords before the budget. So this is really just tinkering around the edges until we get to the next budget. When
so tax relief for landlords. Yeah, probably not going to happen.
Maybe they should tax vulture funds more. Maybe that would be a good thing to actually do. But if you're a landlord, you know, we'd love to hear from you like that. Like, we have a lovely relationship with our landlord, but I am afraid to say to him when things are broken, we prefer to fix it ourselves because we don't want to bother him because we don't want to be looking for a new place. Anyway, 0896 111 111. We'd love to hear from you. Now,
would you move to the country?
Yes.
What do you reckon, Adam? Would you... Japanese families, obviously this is in Tokyo where as a city it's completely overpopulated. So they're actually offering families $7,000 per child to leave the city.
Yeah. Isn't this a fascinating idea? And they've done this for a while, and some of the numbers, so the first time they did it, it was a smaller payout, and in 2019 it was 71 families left. Then in 2020, 290, and last year then 1,184. So it's working. Like, I mean, they're clearly moving people out. Like,
now, how many people live in Tokyo, Adam?
Well, look, that's true. Yeah, but I would.
No, seriously,
37 million.
Yeah, people. 37 million people, and you're like 200 people have moved out. Fair play to you.
But I'd say there's government officials now and Irish politicians who'd be looking at this and thinking, Jesus, regional development, and they're constantly. Rural politicians asking, like, you know, we want more outside of Dublin. The house prices are lower. People need to move, and in an age when work from home has really blown up post-pandemic, this could be something that could work.
Because decentralisation worked so well 10, 15 years ago, didn't it?
I think it might be the opposite. Would they be trying to get people back into cities here? Back into city centre where you're seeing vacant places, no? Vacant offices?
No, there's plenty of people, but there's no one, like...
People are working from home, the offices, cafes, a lot of it is still dead. Anyway, yeah, lovely stuff. Adam Higgins, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Happy New Year. Great to have you with us.
Happy New Year.
Nice Christmas, nice break.
Lovely break, yeah, it was great. I was only saying it was great to have the first year in a couple of years where you could go and visit friends and go to the pub and not have that kind of guilt or fear that you were going to catch a virus or something like that.
It was lovely. It
won't last too long, you'll have the mask on.
Thank you so much, Adam. We'll talk to you again very soon. Now, after the break, we're rounding up your rights when it comes to returning those unwanted... That's terrible. Unwanted Christmas gifts.
Who gave you the gift?
Yeah, no, we won't. We'll talk to you shortly. Welcome back. Now, whether it's those socks your aunt bought you, who could hate socks, or a cookbook you know you'll never use, we've all been given or received gifts we'd like to exchange.
Socks that Muireann bought me. Look at these.
Look at those bad boys. You're wearing them today.
Hey,
Aren't you
listen,
so
there's no
good?
sending them back. Maybe actually second hand. Join us now to tell us.
There would
what
definitely be a
our-
market for that. If you want to get in contact, I'll rob the socks from our lads. Don't worry about it.
We're going to find out what our rights are. If you want to return those gifts, we've got Grainne Griffith, Director of Communications at the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Good morning to you, Grainne.
Good morning.
You don't want to talk
have
about
to
Tommy
give away
Bowes
Tommy's
socks. It's
No,
okay.
no,
We
my
don't have
socks.
to. Don't want to do that.
But there are a lot of people who would have gifts that were brilliant. You might have got 2 of them or whatever else, just don't have use for it. So what are our rights if I do want to return something, or is it getting to the stage where it's nearly too late now?
Well, I suppose for a lot of people, there's good news in this regard because the Consumer Rights Act came in this year. And one of the things that it says is when you're giving a gift, you give consumer rights with it. So it's not OK now for you to go into a shop and someone to say to you, well, actually, you didn't buy this yourself, or I need the exact card that you paid for this item with. But they can still ask for a proof of purchase. So that's probably your starting point. If you have a gift and you want to give it back or you want to get the money for it, is going, where was this bought and how can I show where it was bought? Like, do I have a receipt, a gift receipt, an email, anything at all? And look, you know, sometimes that means you have to have a potentially awkward conversation with the person who gave you the gift, you know? But look, maybe it's worth it, you know, if it gives you the option of going down and getting it exchanged or a refund.
It's always good. You did that with mine. You put the gift. You sellotaped the gift receipt to the bottom. Did Lucy do it? Was it Lucy that did it?
Right,
So because kind of giving the gift receipt is a good thing. So I brought something back yesterday. So obviously it had gone down in the sale. So you're just going to get the sale price because you don't have a proof of purchase, right?
Yeah, and I suppose you can't also prove when you bought it. And when you buy something in an actual shop, you don't have a change of mind window unless that shop offers it as part of their terms and conditions. Like, it's different if you buy online. Like, when you buy online, because you don't have the opportunity to actually pick up the item and look at it, under EU law, you always have the right, like, unless you got it personalised or something like that, you'll always have the right to change your mind and send it back within a specific period of time.
Change of mind window.
There is always, when you buy
Never
online
heard that.
from the EU, they have to give you at least 14 days from when it was delivered to look at it and go, no, you know what, this isn't what I wanted, and send it back again.
Now, you mentioned EU there. A lot of people would have bought Christmas presents from the UK, got them shipped across. What are rights for people if they do that? Is there a change of mind option there?
Well, look, the thing is, like, with UK consumer law, it's broadly very similar to Irish law. So if you go on and look at the terms and conditions, you'll find they probably do have a returns window. The thing that we'd say to people, though, is, like, we do generally advise against buying anything, like, particularly expensive or something you really want to get a long-term kind of use out of from the UK, because if you have problems down the line, just the follow-up can be that bit more difficult, do you know?
Yeah, so you advise people, but if people have, what do they do?
Well, you just go straight onto the website and see what are the terms and conditions and is that return window still open? It could be. Like, anything you got delivered in Christmas week, you're coming up to that 14-day window now. If they have a 28-day window, you've still got a week or two. And that's just to kind of start the cancellation process. You still have another couple of weeks to get it in the post and get it back to them.
Because I know that, you know, you saw an awful lot of signs kind of, we'll be accepting returns for 6 weeks around the Christmas period until the 14th of January or whatever. But places do not have to offer that.
No, they don't have to offer those extended return windows. I mean, it's a great idea and it's really good for consumers and it can really encourage people to shop in a particular store. But even those that offer those extended windows, maybe from the end of November or the Black Friday sales into January, they're probably running out in the next week or so. So it's really worth kind of taking stock. What did I get? What did I buy? Maybe you bought some extra presents that you didn't need, or you over-prepared, or you ordered clothes in multiple sizes. You really need to kind of gather them all together now, get your receipts and start returning.
So if somebody bought a present at the start of December, even the end of November, that window is probably close to being shut now. So do shops have to give, can you get money, but you can't get money back, but is there any sort of way of returning something that you get? Store credit or whatever else?
We'd always say ask, like, go down and ask, because particularly if they're own brand goods and you know that you bought them in this particular store and they know that you did and the tags are still on, like, you're very unlikely to get a refund, but you might get a credit note or you might be able to swap the size or, you know, something like that. So you just have to ask.
Online as well?
Online, you can email. I mean, it is a little bit maybe more difficult because you're engaging with a website as opposed to being able to go in and have a conversation with someone. But again, it is always worth asking, even if you've missed all those return windows that you're actually entitled to.
And a shop can't say we're not doing returns.
If when you bought it, they said they did returns, then they have to stick with that. if when you
Can a shop
bought,
say they don't do returns?
change of mind returns. Now, if there's something
Oh, okay,
wrong with
okay,
something,
okay.
and this is one area where we always see that people completely underestimate their rights. So people think their rights for faulty goods run out a lot sooner than they do. But if you buy something, that business is potentially answerable for that item for up to 6 years after you bought it.
Yeah,
You know, so
okay.
it just depends on whether or not you just don't want it or whether or not there's something actually wrong with it.
And what about if you have a query online or phone lines? Whatever? Like, it's so difficult to get. Like, it was so busy, these shops, before Christmas. Now I'm sure they're inundated with people trying to return stuff, and you can't. You're waiting for a reply. You're waiting to get in touch with them. Is it on the time that you make the effort to get in touch with them that you've hit that limit, or is it by the time they get back to you? Sorry if you know what I mean.
So the cancellations piece, where you just have a statutory right to cancel within 14 days, they have to make that as easy for you as possible.
Okay.
And you should be able to find a really quick link as to how to cancel online. So they're supposed to give you a model form, but actually a lot of places just make it much easier.
Yeah.
They send you out the form with it, and you just pop it back into the envelope with whatever you bought and send it back.
Now, this was something that I noticed. It was before Christmas, and it was a few things that were bought from Europe, you know, European brands or whatever. And normally you get your label and you just return it, and it's free postage. There were a few places that it wasn't. It was €25. They did have a label printed out, but they didn't pay for it. So in that regard, it's not a change of mind, or if something didn't fit or whatever, you had to pay for it to post it back.
Yeah, that's becoming more common.
Yes.
And they don't have to pay for your returns when you're just changing your mind.
Because it was €25.
Yeah, it can be expensive. It's really worth thinking about and checking the returns policy
Yeah.
before you buy something online.
Well, it
and I
costs a
suppose from an
lot for those
environmental point of
companies
view.
as well, yeah, because a
Yeah.
lot of people buy stuff and just send them back anyway. You're trying to stop that from an environmental point of view.
Yeah, a lot of consumers just want to be more environmentally conscious, and that is one way that you can do it, is not buying in bulk online and then sending a lot of it back. But now, if your goods were actually faulty, if they're faulty, they have to cover the cost of your return. It
Yeah,
has to be
but
done
that's-
free to you and as soon as possible. But yeah, change of minds, it's very much down to each individual company.
And important to remember that sometimes when you do bulk buy and then you send it all back, it's going straight to landfill. Like, they're not reselling that. An awful lot of places aren't
Well,
reselling
it's
that at
cheap
all.
stuff, yeah, absolutely.
Straight to landfill.
Yeah.
It's not all places, obviously, but some of them.
Let us know. We'd love to hear from people at home on this as well. Do you have a gift that you couldn't send back? Do you have a gift that somebody, the old in-laws, sent you that
Tell us,
wasn't
okay, if
great?
you got something really bad, will you send us in a picture? Like, of someone to
No,
be like,
they
what
send a
was this?
picture.
We'll keep you anonymous.
Anonymous it is.
Or just text us 0896 111 111. What have you returned? What was really bad?
Grainne Griffith, of course, Director of Communications at the CCPC. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Did you return anything?
Don't ask. Next time we want to talk about it on there.
I was just talking about
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm not in on this.
I missed that bit of the
Coming up,
conversation. Sorry, Grainne.
is it actually possible to stick to a New Year's resolution? Maybe we weren't asking awkward questions. We'll have the answers after the break. The snow still on it. Love it. You're very welcome back to the show. Now, here it is. The new year. Do you still make resolutions?
New Year. It's not New Year, New Year.
I
The
do.
same
I
person.
like it. It's good.
We'll get into it. Now, what we
Right.
want you to do, see, there's a QR code on screen. We want you to take out your phone, open up your camera app and scan the QR code. Where is it? On the screen.
Not scan it. Just take a picture of it and press the link on that comes up on the screen. Isn't it?
No, you just open it and then press the link. Anyway, on our screen to vote in our survey, let us know. Do you make New Year's resolutions, yes or no? And we're joined by Dr. Enda Murphy this morning. Hello.
We've already got people doing it. There's people getting online already. Anyway. Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning, lads.
Enda, sorry, new technology. And what are we doing? Enda, I think that New Year's resolutions are the worst thing in the entire world. I think they put people under pressure, that it's
What's wrong with that?
just an arbitrary day, and we've just come off enjoying ourselves, and then all of a sudden capitalism is going, buy all this stuff to make yourself feel better.
Well, that's Blue Monday. But anyway, because
Yeah.
we don't have the money to buy it. But New Year's resolutions are probably the worst thing you can use to try and implement change.
Why?
And that's because what's the purpose of a New Year's resolution? We think, oh, yeah, New Year, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to do all of this. And of course, the less I've been doing last year, the more I'm going to want to change this year. So if I say I'm going to exercise more, I have this image in my head, I'm going to do the Dublin City Marathon next year.
Good
And
on
it's
you.
Yeah, but it's the worst thing you could actually do, because if you haven't been practicing All right, and if you haven't been practicing, you're not going to be doing the Dublin City Marathon. And if you haven't been practicing changing. Now, one of the biggest mistakes we make is we think, what is motivation? We think, oh, you have to feel like doing it, and I have a drive, and I have a goal, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to do all these things. And what we don't realise is action precedes motivation. It's not the other way around.
Yeah, well, I like that. But everyone I talked to over Christmas kind of said, New Year, I'm going to get back training, I'm going to start eating healthy, I'm going to go. And like, is there nothing wrong with having that bit of motivation? Even if it doesn't last until February, March, April, at least it kicks off the new year trying to feel better about yourself.
And
no?
everybody goes down and joins the gym, and by 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and we're now on January the 3rd, so how many people will come in and say, well, I had all these images, and then I woke up and it was cold. So remember, the more we want to change is inversely proportional to the lack of change we've actually been making. So you have to understand what change actually looks like. And change involves enduring some discomfort, and that's what we don't like. We try to avoid discomfort as much as possible. And one of the biggest mistakes people make, especially with their mental health, they say is, if I'm feeling good, I'm doing something right, and if I'm feeling bad, I'm obviously doing something wrong. And that's absolutely the total opposite of the truth. It's like if I do go to... Exactly. If I go to the gym, I'm going to feel an awful lot of discomfort at the start.
Yeah.
And motivation is easy when you want to do it. Real motivation is doing things when you don't want to do it. So action precedes motivation.
I just think that that's because this arbitrary day that's in a calendar.
It's a kick. To try and change something, you need a kick to kind of the impetus to do it.
No.
So the new year is kind of that time. It's
But
like,
then
right. And some people don't stick at it, but a lot of people do.
Do they?
Do they?
Do you know what? I've never known somebody who took a New Year's resolution that actually stuck with it. But
for the year.
You're very different to a lot of people. You love setting goals and targets and you stick to things.
Well, except but there's also a lot of people like me too.
I think there's more of me than there is of you,
but
unfortunately.
And of course, you're an ex-rugby player.
Unfortunately, yeah.
The skill in learning how to actually... Like, you can have a New Year's resolution, but you can have that on any day of the week.
Exactly. So, like, I remember, when I decided to do whatever Couch to 5K, it was April.
Yeah.
It was just like, there wasn't this pressure. And I am seeing, and I was talking about it on social media, there's so much paraphernalia now. If you buy this journal for €120, you're going to achieve all your goals. Make sure you get to the Middle Island, buy all of these weight things. You're going to be the fittest you've ever been. There is a correlation between January and going, well, we're going to get them to spend more money after Christmas for new them.
Yes,
right?
And the biggest, and gyms and everything like that have their greatest increase in membership in the month of January, which falls off around February or March, and that's where they make most of their money is in January. But if you look at how change actually occurs, and we set up a goal and we say, right, I'm going to do my 0 to 5K. And if I fail at going out and doing that, say, one day, or I haven't done it for a couple of days, I think, do you know what? Throw it all aside. Now, you're an ex-rugby player. In order to learn how to score a try, you first had to learn how to fail at scoring a try 30 times.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly. But that's what we don't learn. We don't learn that in order to succeed, you first got to learn how to fail.
Yeah.
So if people want a New Year's resolution, they can do it on any day of the week. You start practicing making little changes in your day. Little changes that just
So would that not be a
irritate
little habit, a little change start in the new year?
Well, yeah, but why? But a new year has this, this pressure and this enormity.
There's no pressure. People are maybe putting on a little bit of pressure, but what's wrong with a little bit of pressure?
Well, see,
like that resolution, doing something, trying to get
Couch
to 5K, that's pressure.
A little bit of pressure. What's the difference between stress and anxiety?
What is it?
What?
I don't know.
Well, the old joke was that if you're on a medical card, you get anxious, and if you're in the VHI, you get stressed. They're both exactly the same. But we say, a little bit of pressure and a little bit of stress. So I will ask people that says, hands up who gets stressed, and everybody puts their hands up. And then I will ask, how many people have a problem with anxiety? Everybody sits there. And I said, well, what's the difference? There is actually no difference. So putting yourself under pressure to do something usually has the opposite result. Because the more you see, confirmation bias is, the more you see yourself as having to change, the more you're going to see yourself as failing. So it inversely goes proportional. So practice little changes.
So do little changes. So you're not saying like a big New Year's resolution.
Exactly.
Just small habits.
And you can do that on any day of the week, and you're better off doing it any day of the week. Because remember, we change situations whenever possible.
Yeah.
And we adapt to them whenever necessary. And we're not good at adapting to situations.
And if you fail, just pick yourself back up. It's all good. You can keep on going.
Well, you have to understand is that in order to fail, you pick up the rugby ball, you run with it, somebody tackles you. So what? You know you have to do it 30 times. But with New Year's resolutions is the first time you've actually got tackled and you've lost the ball, well, that's it. I have to wait till next
But imagine you set a New Year's resolution in January and you fail and then you keep going. Well, there you go. There you go. You've learned how to do it.
Wow, he's just solved all the world's problems.
Blue Monday. Because
oh, God, yeah.
It is a particularly tough day of the year, January the 16th.
16th.
It can be, it doesn't have to be. Now, somebody was asking says, is this just a marketing ploy? Well, it's not much of a marketing ploy because nobody has any money to spend, so there's no point marketing. But we have known for years and years, and I first heard of this concept 20 years ago, where this last Monday in January, or the third Monday in January, the credit card bills are coming in. The weather is crap, all right? Now, Blue Monday is one of those days that whatever it is that's bothering you, because most of us have a negative opinion somewhere along the line, all right? We have this little pathological crick going on in our head.
Dave, look how happy he is.
You do. Whether we want to admit it or not. But what we do is that this particular Monday, what is your usual way of overcoming that? Do you go shopping? Do you do this? Do you do that? So all of those things are there. And it tends to be where we have this negative self-belief and self-evaluation. If you just look, you know, happiness isn't having what you want. It's wanting what you have. So instead of having Blue Monday...
Oh, Enda, you are blowing my mind this morning. I love that.
Instead of actually having a Blue Monday, you can have a reflective Monday. And on that Monday, when you're feeling down, say, right, what exactly am I feeling down about? And that's as far as you'll get, because it'll be this vague thing. And the more precise you try to be with it, the more vague it is.
And do you know what we have this year? We've got Bridget's Day. It's not that far from the bank holiday. We've got a bank holiday.
We have a
coming
bank
up in
holiday
February.
in February.
It's going to go. Dr. Enda Murphy, blowing my mind this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Appreciative of what you've got. Love
I
it.
love that. Now, here is a look at our survey from just a few minutes ago. Do you make New Year's resolutions? Yes or no?
72% said no.
72% said no. Wow. My people, hello.
Yes.
There's still time to get in touch by scanning the QR code on screen.
And it gives you a link to your local gym if you scan it as well. Still to come this morning, we've got some good grub gadgets and tips to make your skin glow. Love it. We'll see you after the break. Don't worry.
Now, it's time to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Independent. Its headline, landlords set for more tax breaks to ease housing crisis. Landlords will be able to write off the cost of buying cookers, fridges and washing machines against tax under plans being considered by the government.
State defers €340 million housing spend. That's the front page of the Examiner. The government has been slammed for failing to spend its 2022 housing budget at a time of record homelessness and a persistent housing shortage.
Buying a home gets tougher is the top story on the Daily Mail. Home buyers are more financially stretched now than in over a decade, as the average property price is almost 8 times the average income.
Wow. The Sun leads with Bruna X is charged with murder. Bruna Fonseca's former partner was yesterday charged with her New Year's Day murder.
The Mirror and the Star lead with the same man on Bruna murder charge. A man made no reply to Gardaí when they charged him with the murder of his former partner on New Year's Day.
The Herald also goes with that story. New Year murder victim pinpointed by online posts. Social media posts have proven crucial in pinpointing the precise movements of Brazilian woman Bruna Fonseca.
And finally, the Irish Times front page, consider all options before going to hospital, HSE warns. The Health Service executive has appealed to people to consider all options before going to a hospital this week in what it predicts will be one of the busiest periods experienced by the Health Service.
And you know what, just following on from that, we talked about the record levels of numbers in hospitals at the minute. More people in hospitals now than there was this time last year in the middle of Omicron. And we talked about, would you wear a mask again? Don't do it to me, but listen, Frank has said, I think we should definitely go back to wearing masks in shops, schools and other crowded places. Hygiene is the biggest problem. I see so many people coughing and sneezing into their hands and then touching everything around them. Bring some hand sanitizer. And it is something you definitely see. Yeah, or just sneezing and people just getting back to kind of old habits, whatever else. When we
I know we shouldn't be joking about it. It is very serious, and obviously the HSE is being completely overrun at the minute. We were also talking about New Year's resolutions with Dr. Enda. I kept writing down everything he was saying. That man, I adore him. He's brilliant. He blows my mind all the time.
So what are we at now?
So we've got this survey that we're doing online. Do you make New Year's resolutions?
So get
the
your
yeses are Tommy. And that's 27% of people are good people. Well done. And the rest who are like me, who want to sit down, have a cup of tea, eat chocolate or a sandwich at night time, 73% of us.
For the new year, let's take part in this quiz, right? New Year's resolution. Scan the little QR code in the corner. Say yes or no. Do you make resolutions?
So it can become 95% no and 5% yes?
Well, listen, and Katrina said, I agree with Tommy. There you go. We all need a little bit of discipline. I'm doing dry January plus 31 days of walking. Fair play to you, Katrina. Whether it's a short walk or a long walk, no pressure. And that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a motivation. Everybody's looking for a motivation, a bit of a kick to do something.
Can I say hi to Sarah? I agree with Muireann. There's someone who agrees with me. January is grim enough without the added pressure of having to better yourself to become a better person. But you know what? You're going to have to spend money if you want to become a better person. There's plenty more chocolate to be eaten in my house, and I won't be stopping anytime soon. Of course you can, but
go for a walk. You don't have to go to the gym.
Capitalism
you don't have
is
to do anything.
Of course you don't. I get that, but I just can't get over the amount of manifesting journals. They're so expensive. Get a copybook.
No one's going to get a manifesting journal.
They are.
Just go out for a run. Go dry January. That'll cost you nothing.
Our producers and directors
how much money you'd save.
Our producers and directors are shouting in our ears going, I thought they'd give this up last year. Can that be their New Year's resolution, not to go over time?
Absolutely not. Now, before we do get a quick break, it is time to get the weather. Of course, we missed out on Derek and his pal on the old exercising machine.
What are they going to be doing?
Check in on them now.
For car insurance, van insurance, or home insurance, call the Quote Devil. Unless, of course, you've got money to burn.
Yeah, Tommy, we're giving it socks here. We've actually popped down here to Martin Savage Park and we have got a park hit workout coming your way at 8:45. Give us a nice big wave there, Brian. We're still waiting for the volunteers. Hopefully they're not dodging an early workout session. Anyway, quick look at weather. We're slipping past 8 o'clock here this morning and thankfully the showers have eased back in Dublin, but elsewhere plenty of the wet stuff now falling right up and down the island. So if you are heading out and about, keep the rain gear handy now this Tuesday morning in those moderate to fresh, locally strong and gusty southwesterly winds. Now, right across today, in fact, we're going to see a pretty wet day in store. In fact, heavy rain leading to an ongoing risk of spot flooding out there today. Still quite windy as well from the southwest. Top temps, so 10 to 13. And across tonight, then more scattered showers to take us through those early morning hours. Those winds veering to the west, still pretty pacey though, as we work our way into your Wednesday morning. But overnight lows back to 6 to 9 degrees. That's how we're shaping up for now. Come back to us live at 8:45. Come on, Brian, pump it.
For first-time drivers, young drivers, returning drivers, if you've had an open claim or have had too many penalty points.
The Quote Devil's always got one hell of a quote.
You're very welcome back. Now, throughout Ireland, family carers dedicate themselves to providing remarkable levels of care in the home to the people that they love.
We're joined by Head of Communications at Family Care Ireland, Catherine Cox, and 2022's Family Carer of the Year award winner, Colette O'Shea. Thank you so much for being here with us. And Colette, when we get your story, I don't think people would realise, you know, what life can be like for an awful lot of people. But Catherine, that is an issue in Ireland. It's very important to let people know how much work carers do. Like, they save the state billions.
They do. They save the state 20 billion every year. And there's over 500,000 family carers in this country. 67,000 of them are under the age of 18. And as you said, they are incredible people doing remarkable work. And unfortunately, they do it without the supports that they should have. And that's why the Care of the Year awards are so important, because we need to highlight and say thank you to carers like Colette for what they do, but we also need to raise awareness that they don't get those supports. That they don't get the financial support they need, they don't get the services, they don't get simple things like a hoist when they need it, simple things like a house adapted for a bathroom downstairs. They have to fight tooth and nail for everything. And that's why Family Carers Ireland, we exist to help them with that, because our motto is no one should have to care alone, and we try to support them in any way that we can.
Good on you. It really is incredible people doing incredible things, and Colette, you are the epitome of that. You know, you won Care of the Year last year because you care for your husband and your son. We met them outside as well. You have 2 other children as well. Tell us a little bit more about your family.
Kieran got diagnosed going back last January with motor neuron disease and frontotemporal dementia.
That's your husband, Kieran?
My husband, Kieran.
What age was he when he was diagnosed?
He was 47 when we got diagnosed, but he had it for 5 years previous, so he would have been 42 when he first developed symptoms. His grandfather had motor neuron disease on his dad's side, and his father had Parkinson's and developed dementia as well. And he was in his 60s when he died. And so Kieran was 42 when he started developing symptoms.
What does, before he was diagnosed, I'm assuming that you noticed huge difference in your husband's behaviour.
Yeah, it was gradual though. I mean, 5 years ago, there was small things. He started kind of retracting into himself, kind of withdrawing from the family. He'd often go upstairs, take his phone and be in the bedroom by himself. And I just thought he needed some time to be by himself. And then there was other things as well, like he used to hoard a lot of things like computer parts, broken computer parts. He worked in Curry's, so he'd bring home these parts, and I said, well, what are you going to do with them? And he said, I don't know, I just want to keep them. And then he started bringing home sticks. They were kindling sticks. And again, I was saying, well, are you going to build something with it? I mean, can I burn them in the fire? And he goes, no, I just want them. And they were coming home in the carloads and was filling up the garage with them, and he was actually hiding it from me. But I mean, I think it was for a tree house, he said originally he wanted to build, but I mean, he'd never even built, I don't even think, like a birdhouse in his lifetime, so...
but these are repeated patterns and behaviour that doctors have since told you.
But just on their own, it wasn't anything too surprising, like, you know. Yeah. I mean, we thought he was maybe just a bit depressed, like in himself, just, you know, but the kids now kind of look towards me to do things with them. And for the last few years, they've stopped kind of going to him because he hasn't really been there for them.
Because motor neuron disease, we see it with a number of people who are trying to spread awareness for it and try to find a cure for it, which at the moment there is none. But it is an incredibly debilitating disease where your body starts to slowly shut down, and it makes it so difficult, I suppose, for you to try and have 3 children. It is.
As I said, because I'm a full-time carer to Luke, my eldest.
Who's Crohn's disease?
He's got Crohn's disease. He was diagnosed when he was 6. So, it's quite tough. As I said, the dementia side, though, took over for many years. We didn't really see the motor neuron side of it until about 3 years ago. His voice started slurring. And usually it was just in the evening time, or if he had a drink, you'd hear it. But then it came more kind of frequent. And that was the first sign of the motor symptoms.
Can you leave him with the children?
No, no.
So you are literally...
I have to be there the whole time, yeah.
What supports are you getting from the state as a woman whose husband, like I'm just thinking, 42 years old when symptoms started. He's a young man. And your life changes irrevocably. What support are you getting for 3 young kids who you're bringing up
I
now?
get carers allowance for my my eldest son, and then I get a half carers then for Kieran.
You got a half carers for your husband who's got motor neuron disease.
Exactly, yeah.
But sure, he has to be transported. Like, what do you do? It's going to get harder.
It is, yeah.
Because at the moment, is he still walking around?
He's still walking, thankfully, yeah. But we do get help from Milford Hospice as well. And Carers Ireland is playing a big part as well.
And what's it been like for you in the community? Do people know about it?
They didn't for many years. No, I was a very private person and I kept myself to myself. But it just got too much and I had to tell people about it. And that's happened over the last year. But the sense of community has been fabulous. The whole community's come together. There's been people well-wishing and bringing mass cards and sending letters to me, and there's people bringing like turf to the door and blocks, many bags of blocks just been delivered, and it's fabulous. Like, they even came and put up my Christmas decorations for me as well.
It is incredible, the support of community, and it's something that we have. It's so special within the country of Ireland as well. But Catherine, I mean, there's 500,000 carers in Ireland. This is only one story. You must hear so many difficult stories, what people are going through, and the struggle that so many people are doing with so little help from the likes of the government.
We do, and Colette mentioned carers allowance, and it's one of the things that we've fought for years. The carers allowance is a weekly payment that carers get. It's €230 per week to care for somebody, and it's means tested. So it looks at not only your means, but the means of the household. And in many cases, only 1 in 4 carers get carers allowance. So one of the things we are fighting for this year is for the means test to be abolished. It should be based on needs. If somebody needs care, and if somebody like Colette is willing and able to provide that care, they should be adequately financially supported, but also supported through services. We have children on waiting lists for 3-4 years, 18,000 children on waiting lists for 3-4 years for vital therapies in this country. We have Colette here. We had to set up a GoFundMe page for their family because the state are not supporting them enough. There's a GoFundMe page, Kieran O'Shea. If people go on, they can support them. I visited her home just before the Care of the Year Awards. Ceilings leaking, floorboards rotting. They don't have a shower, and I don't mean to say this, but I need to say it because they really need the support, that financial support and those services to step up, and our government as well to step up and realise the work that family carers do and how we have to support them. Otherwise, our health services are in disarray, our hospitals are overcrowded. If it weren't for carers, it would be far worse. So let's support them. Let's support people like Colette and help them.
And with the cost of living crisis, I'm assuming, Colette, that everything this year, it's evaporated before you even have the money.
That's it, Even with the price of shopping and things like that, and I was saying coal, oil, has gone up so much, so...
And just like you were talking about the no shower, like your children, the rooms are so cold that you all have to sleep down in the living room, is that right?
That's happened on occasions, yeah.
Colette, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I keep going.
You do?
Yeah, I've got a positive frame of mind.
What age are your two? You have Hayden and Caoimhe as well. What age are they?
Caoimhe's 8 and Hayden is 10 and Luke turned 12 today.
Today?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's Luke's birthday today.
It is Luke's birthday, yeah.
And you do seem like an incredibly positive person, and I think it's a life that most of us can't put ourselves in your shoes to think of something like this at dementia at such a young age and to have to deal with that. And I know that your whole life has changed. But Colette, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for taking the time and being so open with us, and Catherine for coming in as well.
You.
And people can, of course, find out more online at Family Care Ireland.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much both for coming in. And happy birthday to Luke.
Plenty more Ireland Day coming up after the break.
We're eating already. Sorry. It's time for some cooking without the actual cooking.
Suzie Lee, what have we got?
We are making No Bake Granola Bars. So I'm using 2 different types of oats, but if you only have one, then fine. But I kind of like the texture between jumbo oats and just normal kind of your porridge oats.
Okay.
Same kind of difference, just one's kind of less milled and larger. We're kind of toasting these right now, so just to give it more flavour. But some people kind of want quick speed, and you could just mix everything together and leave it like that. But I kind of like them toasted.
The toasted ones?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like toasting them off now. Then in another pot, you are going to put in some butter, and actually what Muireann and Tommy are tasting is without the sugar. Last night I did it by mistake and actually left out the sugar. The sugar gives it chewy because you're using honey.
You should leave out the sugar more.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
So there's you
go on, throw it in. Let's see.
Or don't.
Yeah, or don't. Or just stack.
So you've got honey, you've got obviously
butter,
sugar, and then apricots, is it?
Yeah, so apricots give it the extra kind of sweetness, right? And a little bit of vanilla extract just to give it more flavour, because I just sometimes think I just love vanilla. So,
Yeah.
I'm
So
just
these
adding
are
that.
kind of when you're getting up and going to the gym in the morning.
So,
These are the perfect
yes,
thing to
absolutely.
get you
So,
for your New Year's resolution.
with oats,
So annoying.
with oats,
So annoying.
they're really good for you, and that's why you should have them obviously in the morning or during the day because they have a low GI index. As everybody's talking about blood sugars and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it is a slow-releasing kind of energy food. So it's a carb, but it's a really good carb because it has these things called, is it beta-glucans? Yeah, beta-glucans, which obviously then helps lower your blood sugar levels and then evens out. So when they say about low GI index, it just means it doesn't spike. So
Gotcha.
I ate a lot of oats when I was pregnant because I got diagnosed with gestational diabetes.
Oh.
I had it, and I was very unhappy at that stage because I love sweet things.
Yeah.
So then I had to cull back on a lot of things and eat a lot more like starchy carbs.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the same thing.
Would this be fine if you've got gestational
Well,
diabetes?
no, because you're
There's
obviously
sugar in it.
Sorry, there's sugar.
There's sugar in it, but actually, if I had like substituted out with like say agave, you know, like you could do it like that. You know, the
Gotcha.
non-sugar kind of stuff,
Yep.
or the non-real sugar.
So what are you doing here now?
So I'm bringing this all up to the boil. So I've toasted the oats, right? And once they are
How long would
toasted,
that take? Like, how would you know they're done?
yeah, so you'll start to smell them. So once they start to, they can change colour as well. I didn't want to, I like burning things
You
on
don't
this show,
want-
so I don't, I try not to do that again. So,
So the smoke coming off, that's not a good thing,
You
no?
do have a New Year's resolution.
yeah, do not burn or do not make a fool
so
of myself.
You can smell them toasting, but
Yeah.
you don't obviously want to burn them.
No, so once they have toasted for, I would say about 3-4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, then I'm also going to toast
See,
some
I
hazelnuts and pumpkin seeds, but you can use any seeds that you have. You could use sunflower seeds, you could use linseed, you can use anything that you actually have in the cupboards. Same with the dried fruit. At Christmas time, I would use obviously dried cranberries because I have them in the cupboard, but apricots, raisins, curds, anything. You don't like curds.
Lovely. I love toasted sunflower seeds.
As you can
and
see,
pumpkin
this is the
seeds.
mixture.
Gorgeous.
So you just want it to come up to a fluffy kind of boil.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of
look
thing.
at that.
So that just means that it will be really sticky. So you can hear this is obviously toasting away. Okay, so everything is nice and kind of browned and toasting. So I'll put it into one pot. So once that's kind of, you'll hear popping as well.
Yeah.
Once you hear the popping and they have started to become brown.
And the hazelnuts, you wouldn't have cut them before.
I kind of like a big
Chunk.
crunchy chunk, but you can buy, you know, whatever. You can use almonds, whatever you want to do, chop them up. I have already chopped up some of these apricots. I like to, yet again, cheat, so I use scissors a lot. So I just literally chop them in, and then it just makes it easier, because nobody actually wants a whole chunk of apricot.
I'd be worried with the honey, because whenever I cook honey, it burns. What sort of heat do you kind of keep?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
that
that's
was bubbling away, but you kind of...
So it's just at a low heat, and then because obviously it has a certain boiling point, it will just, see, don't turn up straight away, otherwise you will burn.
So just like a low heat, and just let it just bring
low
up the
and
simmer
slow,
almost.
babe.
Low and slow, exactly. So that's it, and bring it up to high heat then, and then it will. So you're kind of making like a toffee kind of sauce.
Yes.
Here, and then you're just tossing it all around, and try not to spill it everywhere.
Yeah.
And then once you have done that, you line the tin, and you then plonk it straight in. So let's give it a good mix.
This is it?
That's it. It's as simple as that. And you can make these in advance, and I keep them in a Tupperware box, and they keep for like 2 weeks, but they never last 2 weeks because I do actually have these sitting in the car. Like I just literally sit, and then it stops me from eating crisps and chocolate and all the junk, do you know? Because then it's like, there's these, and I make peanut butter protein balls as well, so then I would sit and eat those instead because
You go into a petrol station and there's nothing but these snacks, whatever else, but you can just make them like that.
I'm not even joking.
A couple of weeks worth.
I saw the other day, there was, I think it was $4.50 a protein ball. I know, listen, sure, Ireland's insane. And this is the sort of stuff that I just need to have. Do you have?
But you have stuff like this in the cupboard. Surely you have porridge oats, and you have.
Yeah, I do. It's just actually getting off my bum and making them.
Do you know what? Those full hazelnuts are actually fab.
Once they're toasted, they're really, really nice. So you just compact them down, and then that is really it. So if you didn't want to spend the time toasting the oats or the nuts and the seeds, you could have mixed them all with this this kind of lovely syrupy solution. Put it into the tin and bake it for about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
And then it will then obviously toast everything up. So I'm just patting this down. You can then obviously add extra badness by putting some melted white
Bit of
chocolate,
chocolate on it.
any chocolate, or if you really want to cut the calories, don't put it on. But it's kind of nice just obviously just
Suzie Lee.
drizzled.
I think this is one thing that I might actually make.
Okay.
Really?
Genuinely. I might
Really?
do this.
Can I have a
good, yeah.
photo?
I will send you a photo if I do this. These are delicious.
I wouldn't hold your breath, Susie.
I've made a resolution.
So thank you so much for coming in.
welcome.
Great to have you with us, and they are absolutely fab. Okay, after the break, Joe Wicks, eat your heart out. That was your man's. Oh, he's looking at me.
Oh, look at him there.
Derek is going to put us through a post-Christmas workout after the break. Look at him with his pink hat on, loving it. See you shortly.
Tommy's chucked about 15 granola bars into his mouth in the break there.
Suzie Lee nailed. They're gorgeous.
Mwah. But you know what? This fella, he's certainly a man who likes to stay fit. I'd say he did about 5 workouts on Christmas Day, knowing him. And Derek is with some like-minded people looking to start off January on the right foot. Derek, on the right punch. What are you at?
Go for it.
Absolutely, guys. Welcome back down here to Martin Savage Park in Dublin 7. We've got Nicole leading a workout here this morning before Brian gets stuck in a little bit later on. But Brian, you know, most of us, Christmas, it's been amazing, but a little bit of a struggle to get back into the fitness side of things.
Big time, yeah, but look, there's no better time to start. Start of the year, you know, the first kind of working day of the year, I feel like it's straight back into it. Exercise is a habit. We work out at Parkhead. Parkhead's a social enterprise. We work out every single weekend of the year. This weekend coming is just another weekend. We want to create that habit. We want to reward consistency, people keeping active, keeping fit. And it's not about running marathons. It's not about lifting heavy weights. It's just being consistent with your exercise habit, at least once a week, twice, 3 times if you can.
Now, with Parkhead, I've done it a couple of times myself.
Yeah.
There's a great community atmosphere, isn't there?
Absolutely fantastic. Look, it's nearly more about the community. It's more about the coffee and the porridge afterwards than it is about the workout. For some people, the workout is almost a bit of almost a distraction before you get to that chat, that coffee, that porridge afterwards. So it's community, it's meeting people in your local park, your local area, getting to know them over something healthy, over exercise.
Now, the other aspect to this as well is that you cater for all ages right across the board.
Big time, yeah. We have a great mix of ages, as you can see here already. So our workouts cater to different fitness levels also. Some people, as I say, just come for the chat, and the workout again is a little bit of an inconvenience, and they don't push themselves that hard at all, which is fine. Other people are super fit. They push themselves really hard. They even work through the rest periods, which we have. So look, we've got a great mix. It's your workout. You're only up against one person, and that's yourself.
That's yourself. Almost Joe Wicks like HIIT. H-I-I-T. What does it stand for?
That's it. So high intensity interval training. As I nearly put an R in there as well. It's reasonably high intensity interval training. It's as high as you want it to be honest. As I said, some people push themselves really hard and they get a serious workout. Other people are just maybe easing themselves into the week. It's their first workout of the weekend, so they're easing themselves.
And the sessions are about maybe 30 minutes.
It's exactly 30 minutes.
Yeah.
5-minute warm up, 20 minutes of intensity, and a 5-minute warm down, and then you're done. And it's the same every location, every workout. 30 minutes is what you get.
Okay, and located right across Dublin as well.
6 locations coming to a park near you really soon.
Very, very
all
soon.
All 3 as well. Very important.
Okay, I'm going to hand over the fitness mantle to you now. You're going to take us through some of the viewers at home who are watching this morning, want to get motivated, want to get started off into the new year. Take us through some simple exercises.
We'll do 3. We'll start with 3 exercises. Okay, so lower body first. We're going to do some squats. Brilliant exercise. So the squat, feet shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly outwards, chest open, eyes forward, so there's no pressure on the lower back. Squatting down. A few repetitions to find your range. Nice, slow, steady pace to start off with.
Nice and deep, right?
And well, as deep as you can. As deep as you can. Find your level. Find your pace. We're going to progress this a little bit now. Let's say you're coming a few weeks and you're going to progress this. Pulse it. So when you pulse it halfway back, don't go all the way up. You're pulsing halfway back up.
Oh, you're feeling the burn here now, right?
That one already, yeah. Start to feel that one. Have you feeling that one?
Okay.
And you really want to progress things, you can add in the frog squat. So you're going to get those elbows, right? You're going to get sit into your squat, elbows into the knees, and start to pray, Derek. This is going to burn very, very quickly, okay? So you're going to rock. You're going to rock. Nice little rocking.
So this is a simple exercise.
Backside up, backside down.
I'm actually feeling that now. It's a nice burn in that. This is a great one for mums on the run. The school run, yeah.
Big time, big. Wait, well, you're waiting for the kettle to boil. There.
Exactly. Okay, so you can do
There you
this
go.
in the kitchen and sit
Do
there.
this
It doesn't
anywhere you
matter
want.
where you
Where's
are.
this one? Such a lovely lower body one to get started. Let's go. We want to go upper body as well. Okay. Upper body. You can start nice, easy progression. Hold the plank.
Okay.
Then we're going to go down into our lower plank.
Oh, so we're going to get mucky here, right? We're going to get mucky.
Lovely and mucky.
Okay.
We exercise in the outdoors every weekend, Derek, regardless of the weather.
Regardless of the weather. Hail,
All you're
rain,
doing here, you're moving from
shine.
a low plank to a high plank. Alternate the side you're pushing up from.
Brian, I believe Muireann and Tommy are joining us back in studio as well.
Fantastic.
Come on, guys.
You're feeling really good. And then a push up to it. Start pushing up.
And if we want to progress this then into a push-up,
Into
right?
a push-up.
Into a push-up, Muireann
Either
and Tommy,
off
come on.
off your knees or off your feet. See how you're feeling. So push-ups, there's your lower body, your upper body. Let's go full body.
Okay.
Final exercise. Third exercise, we go full body. Are you ready for a bear crawl?
A bear crawl.
Bear crawl. We're
This
getting
is
down
proper
and
monkey,
dirty.
right?
We're getting down and dirty again, Derek.
Down and dirty.
As
okay.
low to the ground as you can get. Scrape those knees off again. Right and left arm. Left and right. Going back.
Back.
Reverse it up.
3, 4.
Forward by 5.
Oh, Muireann and Tommy.
Forward by 5.
Get your bum down, Muireann.
Get that backside down.
Oh, get it down. I love it.
I want to see dirty knees after this.
Dirty knees.
Scrape the ground.
Okay.
That is some very big worms in this park, isn't it?
It's exercise.
Okay, so
down and dirty. Derek, there's no such thing as bad weather, Derek. It's just inappropriate clothing.
So there we have it. Yeah. So Brian,
Yeah.
you're located, as you said, 6 centres here in Dublin. Hoping
time.
to expand nationwide. Where can people find you online?
So at Parkhit, HIIT, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You'll find us there.
Okay, that's where you can find them. And look, lads, it's a mucky
There's the
workout.
proof.
I hope we've inspired you here this morning. From everyone here in Martin Savage Park, a big cheer! Hey, back to you in studio. Oh, that's mucky.
So mucky here.
I'm not even joking. I'm wearing white pants. That was an idiot.
Ruined
me trousers, lads.
Very good. Well done to you, Derek. Now, still to come, we've perfect gadgets to keep you fit. Not that we need anything else. Healthy. Plus, Jennifer Rock will be answering your skin queries. So get them into us. Are you okay?
Are you a little bit out of breath?
I have, yeah.
Oh, no, that's amazing.
111 on WhatsApp.
Yes, we'll see you shortly. Brett will be back. Woo!
Good. Hey, welcome back. Now, we were talking to Colette there, who won Family Care of the Year. An incredible woman. Her husband, Kieran, who has motor neurone disease and frontal lobe dementia, she only gets half a carer's allowance for him. And her son, Luke, as well, who's just turned 5, who's
12.
Or 12, sorry.
And he's got
has
Crohn's.
Crohn's disease as well. I mean, it's just the work that they put in is incredible. And Sarah said, as a fellow carer, I sincerely admire Colette. It's an incredible, difficult life. Aside from the means test, carers allowance needs to be increased. It was a disgrace. It was far less than what the pup was. Carers are so hammered financially.
And they are forgotten every single year.
20 billion, they reckon, that they save the Irish government.
Yep. And if they did more care in the community, and I know that they don't, we're losing, how many, we've got over 370 something places for public health nurses. Like, if there was more care in the community, maybe the hospitals wouldn't be as overrun as they are. Linda says, I'm a carer in the community. The work done by family carers is phenomenal and goes unnoticed without a lot of vital supports. Families that are already tired from looking after their loved ones then have to fight on a regular basis for the smallest of things. And Linda says that we should do more healthcare in our community, and then we wouldn't have the issue that we have in hospitals. Linda, unbelievable, could not agree with you more, but also something that I think we need to remember is that they estimate 1 in 4 people will become a family carer in this country. That's what's going to happen.
The numbers with dementia is just skyrocketing as well. And let's thank you so much for sending in some of those messages as well. And Colette, she was just such an inspiration this morning.
We need to do something about it now.
Speaking of inspirations, New Year. Inspiration, get fit, eat healthy. Muireann's got herself a new water bottle with all different lines in it to encourage her to drink more water this new year.
It's the most condescending water bottle in the world.
She loves it.
Hate it. Keep
New
going.
Year's resolution.
Keep going.
Good on you, Muireann.
It's not a New Year's
Naomi
resolution.
doesn't agree with you, though. She said January is made more depressing by all these eat better, lose weight, drink more water mantras. It's no wonder Blue Monday is such a sad day. I definitely feel worse with all these pressures.
Lads, January is hitting hard already. I spent the majority of yesterday with the Sunday scaries. on a Monday, says Jake. Going back to work is hard enough without giving up your vices. Resolutions can start next month. January is all about surviving in my books. Couldn't agree with you more, Jake. Let's see. We had a little survey earlier on.
Good water bottle, Jake.
How do we do? Do you make New Year's resolutions?
Now, I think we had well
the
over...
no's have it.
We've nearly over 1,000 people get involved in this as well this morning. So 72% of you have said no. There you go.
You're my people. Hello, 72% with the majority.
You've just got your water bottle like it's little things. That's what we heard this morning.
We should all want to be more like Tommy, but we all know the crap one in this relationship is what we're more like. That's what we are.
You actually have got new things that you're trying to do. So good on you, Muireann. That's all the little things that build up again.
He's as condescending as the water bottle I bought, actually. That's what it is.
Thank you so much for getting in touch with us as well. Always been
It's
a
been a
laugh.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Now, she's one of the hardest working stand-ups in Irish comedy, and she puts up with next door. Emma Doran is going to join us for a chat after the break.
You've seen Colin Baker. That's going to be fun.
Well, from podcasts to TV shows to stand-up as well. Like our next guest does it all.
Joining us today is comedian and self-proclaimed chancer, Emma. That's what it says in the thing.
Is it? Oh,
Emma Doran, good morning.
How are you?
I know that you didn't expect to get breakfast in a show, but you did meet Colin Baker in makeup. Are you all right with his onesie?
It's quite a lot.
That's Colin Baker.
He's very to
who's
the
here
left.
to give us
Very to the left, isn't he?
to the left, to the
Is
left.
it very Beyonce?
Everything
Is it?
you
We're
own
going to see
is
Colin
us.
Baker in his rowing attire.
I was
a
just
little
like,
bit
oh,
later
it's
on.
lovely to meet you. It was his idea, wasn't it?
I'm assuming so. I don't think our bosses would ever say wear a onesie.
That's what people do whenever they're working out on the rowing machine. They're not expected to walk into the makeup room in the rowing machine, maybe. But Colin, anyway, we'll chat to you about that later.
Is that what you do when you're on the rowing machine?
How are you two guys getting on? That's the podcast buddies.
Oh, is that a hint of jealousy?
Oh, I have. Yeah, well, I haven't been invited on yet. How are you finding working with Muireann?
It's good. She's very professional.
Well done, thanks.
She's always late, isn't she?
Always late. Like,
She
always
comes
late.
in with the little beret. Hey!
Emily in
late.
Paris style.
Yeah, skipping. Always late, but she's great.
In case anyone doesn't know, myself and Emma do a podcast together
Yes.
called And Another Thing. Hold on, I'm always 5 minutes late, but you're
Okay.
very early for everything.
I'm very early. You do a lot of prep. But she does a lot of prep and she always has her notes. But then we have to edit loads after. She always has edit notes because she's afraid of what she's said.
Because I'm afraid I'm going to get fired from this
all
job
the
because
time,
of what
yeah.
I've said. Yeah.
So it's a podcast, but it's filtered podcast then, or is
I'm
it?
filtered, she's not.
Oh.
Sometimes she remembers to send edit notes, but sometimes you don't.
Yeah. When I'm sick, I don't. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm feeling
But
a
she
bit
has
sick.
to get sick more often.
So who kind of plots it? Where does it? You obviously plot. You kind of.
No.
She plots me. She pretty
We're
much.
a
She's like I'm like a
team.
puppet on the string.
We are a team and it's highly enjoyable. Isn't that right, Emma?
So you know I have to say yes to this. She doesn't plan anything.
Do you know, he's been sitting here all morning going, she only has you 1 day a week. I'm going to put up with you with 4. Come here. New Year's... Thanks,
Are we
Pete,
gonna
for that
laugh
laugh.
from
Cheers, Pete. Thanks.
You know what I mean, Pete.
God, I'm coming off really badly here. New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Emma Doran, please settle this argument. Do you do them?
No, of course I don't.
Well, you actually were. Can you bring out? Oh, look at this. So Muireann O'Connell says she doesn't do. You said you've never seen Muireann drinking water before.
I've never
And look
seen
at
her
this.
drinking
It's like
water.
7 a.m. Rise and shine. We're down to 1 p.m. for lunchtime now. Look at
Text her
this.
on Fridays. On Friday mornings, she's a different woman. And see if we're doing the 7 a.m. water.
Exactly. So New Year's resolutions, maybe we do them.
I just don't drink water. I just don't.
There you
I
go.
bought this as a prop for the podcast, which we're recording today. Anyway, stop shaming me for my water. New Year's resolutions, no.
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 No, not at all. I mean, I'm going to start not eating crisps for breakfast. Because, do you know, we spoke about that thing, if you think you have IBS and then you realise it's just self-inflicted, that you're just drinking Coke for breakfast and crisps. So I'm going to try that because I'm hurtling towards 40. But no.
What about with the kids? Do you try to get them to do anything like New Year together, traditions even? No.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just trying to ask you.
They'll be back to school on Thursday.
Right.
Fantastic.
I know. Tell me about it.
No, we've done enough with them now. I've done Pantos, we've done Christmas, we've done Elf. We do New Year stuff with them.
How did
Don't
you...
make that a thing.
Were you sad to see the elf on the shelf go?
I gave him a boot kick out the door. Towards the end, now nothing to do with me, but towards the end, he was just kind of like scooting along the radiator. Do you know, like he wasn't really moving that much.
He got a bit lazy in himself.
He did get a bit lazy.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me, but
We were lucky. We had an elf that only came every couple of days and then got COVID one of the days, so we had a week off. Tell us about your other podcast then with your daughter. Do you still doing that then?
we are. But she's in Wexford at the moment, so it's trying to get a hold of her to do it. Is the main thing, because she has quite a, she has a life. She has a social life. She has friends. She has all these things. She has a job. All these things I don't have.
So what age is she?
She's 19.
Because I have a 5-year-old daughter and try to get any stories, any goss out of her, like what happened in school. She just switches off, says, oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that. A podcast is a great way to try and get that.
It is. And what I do as well, I find handy, is I turn off the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
That's a good way to kind of try and get her talking. You know what I mean? Just like 10, 20 minutes, just whack off the Wi-Fi. Just like, is the Wi-Fi? I'm like, yes, how are you? And then I get a bit of goss. But it's hard. When the mic is in front of people, they are different though. So doing a podcast, but I do get a bit of, it's after though, I get the goss.
You get the goss.
Really?
Yeah.
You've warmed her up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have all of that.
Yeah.
How do you, because you're so open in your stand-up shows and in your life, about, how does she deal with that? 'Cause she's 19. Like, her mates must know who you are.
Yeah.
And how did she deal with that?
What are you talking about now?
Like, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you tell stories about what happened on your partner's birthday last year.
Okay, we're going to go there, are we? Right, so his birthday last year, I was having White Russians.
Yeah.
And I was kind of liberal with the mixing. We'd friends over.
Yeah.
And the last thing I remember is just screaming about mortgages. Just screaming, just mortgages! You know when you've been at that point in your life, you're getting to it's mortgages, obsessed with mortgages. And then I woke up and there was no bed sheets on the bed. And I was in the horrors.
When there's no bed sheets on the bed, you know something's gone wrong.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. Actually, that's New Year's resolution, not to repeat that. So we had his birthday again. It was fine.
You woke up with bed sheets on the bed. You could remember you were talking to everyone.
No bed sheets on the bed. What's that? Tell us more. Boy.
You're trying to get her to say that.
He said he had to trap me in the bedroom like I was a wild animal, because I just wouldn't stop screaming about mortgages. And then it was the exorcist all over the bedroom.
And it made her so unhappy that you had to projectile vomit absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you do that after taking part in Ireland's Fittest Families? Did you vomit after that? Because it was highly entertaining.
Some people did.
After doing some of the assault course?
So, we're athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Know
Okay,
what you
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't cheat, though, because I saw you. Were you not pushing?
Don't you start.
Pushing.
Did you not see what Glenda did?
Glenda Gilson, you held her back.
Glenda pulled my shorts. Glenda tried to submerge me in the water.
You were on Fittest Families
6'7"
with your family, Glenda Gilson, Tyke Fleming and Blonde Tracy.
Yes.
And you were going up against Glenda.
I was going up again. No.
Took her down. Well done.
I did a quick claw to Glenda's face because she was trying to pull off my shorts. If you watch that back, she's trying to pull off my shorts. She's trying to submerge me in the water. I had to, she's lapping me when she's doing this, Tommy. Where's the sportsmanship? She's like lapping me.
Well done.
New feud in Ireland. This is so good. I'm loving this.
I mean, she's very beautiful. She's very fit. Why did she have to try and pull off my shorts?
She's double your height. She wanted you to see you like Colin Baker. She wanted to see you in all your glory, I think.
Tell us about the new stand-up then. So
stand-up, yeah.
Mad, isn't it?
Look, I'll be straight with you. I got the attic done. Okay, it was more than I thought. So I'm going on tour.
Leaving the babies on tour.
And we're up in the attic because we said if we give Ella the attic, she'll never move out.
Oh, yeah.
And the ceiling, it's lower than we thought. Fine for me, but Shane's like a gorilla getting in and out of bed. Anyway, so it's fine. I'm going on tour.
To pay for your attic.
To pay for the attic, yeah.
And where are you going? Everywhere?
Everywhere.
Second Vicar Street date?
Second Vicar Street is on sale. I'm going Wicklow, Moat, Galway, Cork, everywhere. It was quite the renovation, so I'm going everywhere.
You're going to be Oh, we're going to go around twice.
Yeah.
So
She
Vicar Street.
She wants to get the conservatory next. She's
Well, the
start.
kitchen's next.
Oh,
So,
right.
yeah.
April 21st. And if people want to get tickets, you get them on Ticketmaster now.
Yeah.
It is, of course, mad, isn't it?
Would you give us a
Sure
mad?
is.
Would you give us a mad, isn't it?
Mad, isn't it?
Mad, isn't it? Emma Doran, thank you so much for
I'll
joining
see you
us.
later.
I'll see you in a few hours. That's
And
it.
if you want to get a fill of these two, it's and another thing on your local podcast. Get it wherever you want.
Your local podcast. That's us. Talk to you in a while after the break from smartwatches to stylish unitards. Oh yeah, Colin Baker is discussing the best fitness gadgets on the market. Get yourself a onesie, apparently. We'll talk to you shortly.
It's tight.
More. It's coming back in. Now, we've been talking all day about how no one wants to do New Year's resolutions, but should you want to get some fitness equipment, we'll help you out.
Well, our next guest will either convince you to do that or not to do that, but certainly to fit into his outfit.
I don't know where to
you're gonna
look.
need to do it.
I don't know where to
Colin
look.
Baker. That is dedication to
New
the
Year's
cause.
resolution number one.
Yes.
Never, ever wear this again.
And listen, the spray tan you got before coming on the show really...
Yeah, can I mention the spray tanning company? Should I? I mean,
think
clearly
actually
people are going to want to know.
We're probably going to lose some business if that's the case.
Surely you sell the boots in backtothefuture.ie. I mean,
Seriously,
come
this
on,
is how I
Back to the
look
Future.
all year around. I see I burn really easily unless... I used to hate these freckles.
Trying to
but
keep
now
the
I'm wearing
eyeline.
them. I'm
Are you
proud
keep-
of them now.
Are you keeping the
All
eyeline?
above the...
All above the
Okay,
shoulders.
okay,
All above the
yeah,
shoulders.
yeah.
Okay.
Really offending
Look to
people
the
this morning.
table.
Now, fair play
listen,
to you.
Well, you know,
Apple
dedication
Watches
and all that.
are a huge Christmas
Do you
present.
know, yeah,
but
they
they're
are.
expensive.
And I do love them. And let's face it, they are the industry standard
Yeah.
in terms of a smartwatch, particularly if you're an Apple person. But they are expensive. And let's face it, like this one is 2.5 years old now. This is my sister's Hermes variant of the Apple Watch, which costs like an extra €200 or something for the name. But the point is, this is now getting to a point where it's not compatible anymore with some of the newest iPhones.
What? And it's only
So
2
you're
years
talking about a
old.
watch that's got maybe a life of 3 to 4
Sorry,
years.
are you kidding me? If I get a new watch this year, this thing is going to be gone.
3 to 4 years. That's what we're looking at. So, that kills me that you'd spend that much on a watch that isn't going to last. My €30 Casio is going to last 30 years.
But they shouldn't be
I'm
allowed to
guessing.
do that. Inbuilt obsolescence
Shouldn't be,
stopped.
but anyway, let's
Sorry.
move
Yeah,
on.
that's
Sorry.
another conversation
Sorry.
next week.
the
But
other
there's
option.
cheaper variants. And that's what I'm getting at this morning and what I've been comparing over the last few weeks. This is a K6 Urban 3, it's called. And you've got a very similar
Looks
look and feel
identical,
to
yeah.
it. You've got the same button on the side, the same touch screen. You've actually got the same sensors. Now, I've been wearing both of them for the past couple of weeks, and the sensor variant is not much. They've got the same sensors, and the accuracy is in or around the same.
And how much is
Now,
it?
This is €69.
Oh,
so
wow.
also the battery life is a little bit longer. It doesn't do as much. You do get notifications from your phone. They're a little bit delayed. The screen isn't as bright and clear. And kind of as a result, you're getting 8 or 9 days rather than maybe 2 to 3 on
That's
the Apple
still
Watch.
pretty good.
So,
That's value.
yeah, a lot less smart functions. There's some very cool smart
Does
functions
it sync
on the
with
Apple
your
Watch.
like Audible
It
or
does
with
sync.
your podcast?
You can't play your music from, like with the Apple
Okay.
Watch, you can play your music
Yeah.
without your phone on the go with a set of headphones. You can't do that on the K6.
Right.
So there's features like that that you really are missing. And if they were both the same price, I'd be all over the Apple Watch. Point is, they're not. That's €69.
Does it come with the earphones?
Yeah, for €69, it comes as the watch. And then for €99, they do a kit, a starter kit, with your fitness earphones and the watch. They're about €50 or €60 normally. But the great thing about those is they're just really, really snug. And they fit around the ear. So no matter how much movement you're engaging in, they do not fall off. And no matter how much you sweat or where you are, they're absolutely stuck
Okay.
on your ears.
Very
It's great.
good.
Very, very handy.
So €99 for the pair.
For the
then.
whole kit, yeah. I think the headphones or the earphones are about €50 or €60 separately, so it's a good deal.
Now, are we going into the fashion segment here?
Yeah,
Are you taking
kind
over?
of, yeah, I'm moving in on the fashion area,
Yeah,
seeing as
the
it's so
stylists
popular.
will
Nobody
love it.
wants gadgets anymore.
the
This
hat
is it's a Bluetooth hat. So there's actually a Bluetooth interface built in here and an earpiece built in both sides with a microphone. Now, what's great about these, they're not great audio quality, but I find them great great for podcasts on the go. Because these aren't in your ear, they're kind of over your ear.
I have one of them when I'm walking the dog, and it's great because it's cold, because I hate putting on big earphones with a hat.
But the thing about big earphones is they cover your ear and they stop you hearing what's going on around you. So if you're cycling or walking or running, I feel you really need, I even hate hoods for that reason. I want to hear what's going on around me. And you can still hear everything while you're wearing these, because they're only little speakers near your ear. They're not in your ear. So €29, so inexpensive as well.
So
scales now.
Is this what you really need?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. It is a bit of a paradox, really. You're meant to have all these metrics about your body if you're going to work forward and progress, but it's kind of scary when you look at it. I was using it this morning, and I'm 24% body fat. This would
actually... It can tell you if you're...
So what it's doing, aside from just weight, obviously, it also uses these electrodes in combination with an app on your phone to gauge your body fat index, your BMI. You obviously put in your height and your age, but it also figures out your bone density, your protein levels, your water retention. So what's actually doing is it's sending a tiny current through your body from leg to leg, and it's measuring the resistivity. So by that method, it's gauging all those metrics. That's €39.
And what's it called?
It's called the Nedis Smart Scale. Now, I have to say, it's actually more accurate in terms of its sensors than I've seen before, and quite inexpensive as well. And it is nice to be able to see that. And what's nice as well is it automatically it records that on the app. So when you go back in next week, next month, next year, you can look back on that. I suppose it goads you forward.
Let's move on to the next one, because I have one of these that I find very handy in the morning.
You've never seen a blender you didn't like?
I've been reading a book from...
You love a blender.
There's some interesting facts about Tommy. He loves blenders. I tell you what I'm trying to do this year is, because my breakfast, I like to have those big sarnies, big sandwiches and wraps and stuff. I'm going to start. I've been reading a book about about nutrition, and I'm going to start with smoothies in the morning. And this is just a handy, inexpensive one. They're €29. They're USB rechargeable, like all the gadgets I love. And then you just... that's all it literally comes with, a glass unit, and then you just hit it on, and then you mix it up, and your smoothie's ready.
Yeah. No, I have one of these as well. It's very handy with the porridge oats and protein and all. And fruit, you get the fruit on. And
that one is so bloody tiny. And then, obviously, it's USB rechargeable, so you don't need to worry about plugging it in. And it's inexpensive as well.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
I might get rid of those.
Finally...
The rowing machine.
Oh, yeah. What are you looking at me for?
I mean, come on.
We've got to do it, seeing as I'm prepared,
Have we got like a Baywatch tune even to get to it? Or, you know,
Oh, I don't know. Can they do that?
Tommy can.
So obviously, like, there's like Concept 2 row machines, and they're all very expensive, take up a big area in their house.
This is fold up, and it folds up. This part goes vertical. And there's a digital readout on it, so you get all the metrics and the adjuster that you get on the rowing machines in the gym, but it's just neater, a lot less expensive. This one's €399. And just for me, I find the rowing machine, you can get a lot out of it in a relatively short space of time. It's also no impact. Running tends to upset my knees, so the rowing machine is just all over body workout. Not that I'm a fitness expert, but I enjoy it. And it doesn't annoy me.
It is a hellish machine, but at the same time, what you could do in 10 minutes would take an hour probably to do on the road.
There's not a lot of preparation.
Because you're working your arms, your back, your legs, the whole lot. So it's an all-body thing. Go on, give us a rattle.
Okay,
go on.
Take you out
hard as you can.
Hard as I can. Do you really want to see that?
What do you want to sing, Baywatch?
Let's not mention hard as you can in that suit anyway. Colin Baker from backfromthefuture.com. We know where you can get that. And I don't know where you got the spray tan, but you can get one of those somewhere.
I'll link it to you in the description.
Coming up next.
By the way, fair play, Colin. I mean, first day back. Well done, you.
Happy New Year.
Back from the future.
To go on.
Fair play to him. Up next, how is Jennifer Rock going to compete with this? We'll find out next on Art of Day. Welcome back.
New year. It's time to sort the skin out.
You're joking. Jennifer Rock is here. Hello, Jennifer Rock. How are you?
Really good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. You mentioned earlier on, just after 9 o'clock, radiator face.
Yes. What's radiator face?
So radiator face is a term that's coined to describe where there's no humidity in the room, or there's no moisture, should I say, in the room. So your skin is just exposed to constant dryness and just heat. So it tends to have like a knock-on effect with the skin where it just feels taut, tight, red, tender, sensitive. And you know, you can feel it yourself. Sometimes you walk out, you go for a lovely walk and you're all like rosy-cheeked to get back into the house. It's just the extremes, the constant extremes that we put ourselves through over the last few
Sitting in
weeks.
front of the fire at home.
Yeah,
can
reading
imagine.
your book with your face mask on, Tommy. I could just see you
Oh,
now.
that's it.
But
Do you have a face mask here? No?
No, I don't have a face mask today,
okay.
actually.
Next time. But this, so it's a good bit of hydration. Get a bit of hydration back into your skin again.
There's a term that's huge, and it was huge 21, 22, and it will definitely still continue on into 23. So it's all about what they call like your skin's barrier. So your skin is naturally there to obviously defend itself against the elements. So what we want to try and do, so the first product is an ideal one for when you've been sitting in front of the fire, you've had a couple of swims, you've been out hill walking, out down the beach, and just your skin is perhaps
You've been very busy, Jennifer Rock. My God.
But I do feel that the skin takes its toll, so it needs to get kind of really key ingredients back in. So this is Kinvara, an Irish brand, dermatologically tested, powered by plants. The smells divine. The rosehip oil inside it means that there's omega-3 and 6, which are natural components within the skin. So what you're essentially doing is giving back to the skin what the skin naturally has inside it. There's an aroma there of lemon and lavender, but it doesn't cause any sensitivity. Sometimes some smells and fragrances and products can. This doesn't. But it's vegan, it's gluten-free, but it's really hydrating, but it doesn't actually have that. Sometimes when you hear omegas, you think essential fatty acids and you think really heavy. It's not. It's a beautiful, hydrated product. Makeup is stunning over it, and it really helps to calm the skin when you feel it's been so tight and taut from being indoors a lot or outdoors. The extremes.
That saturates into the skin so
Yeah,
quickly.
it's nice. Beautiful product.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What about this hyaluronic acid? So how serum?
Yeah, so hyaluronic acid is something we naturally have inside us. Again, another Irish brand, which I'm very proud to represent. This is Ella and Joe, so a fellow facialist and a makeup artist, a power duo, ladies, can I say, who then have created this supercharged hyaluronic acid serum. So not only is it hyaluronic acid, it has niacinamide in there, which is vitamin B3, so it's great for reducing oil, great for redness, and there's peptides in there as well. Tommy, just pop it on, yeah, and then pop it all over the face.
Oh, right.
You put it on your face?
Why not?
All over. It's literally like a drink
it smells
for the
good
skin.
anyway, yeah.
It's really light, it's very cooling, very refreshing, but it's a quick fix. So if you're thinking, my goodness, it's January, how the hell?
No.
Ta-da! It's the elixir of youth.
Doesn't work, obviously.
It does, but it's just a quick fix of hydration for the skin. So it just feels cooling and calming immediately, and it just helps to plump out any refined or fined lines that you may have.
And these days, hyaluronic acid, that's always on about it. It has become a staple for most people's skincare. And
it's a key ingredient inside us. So from 30 onwards, it tends to diminish. So really, this is just putting back into the skin what the skin naturally has. And you can be as pregnant as you like. And the reason I say that is that so many people are so conscious of what they can or can't use with medication and medical circumstance. So quick fix, hydration, Irish owned, not just hydration, but it has that anti-aging element there with the peptides. So it's a little bit of a lot in one, should I say.
What have we got next?
Now, this I definitely need, right? So this is a brand that I've fallen in love with over the last few months. So it's called Aya. So Aya is an Irish supplementation brand. It's created by scientists. It's got all the studies and the stats and the data behind it. They've got many different products. The blue bottles are their ones for adults. There's 20 within this range. This one in particular I like. Do you know why I like it? Because look at the name. It's literally your ultimate one a day. So I literally have to take one of these and have the key ingredients. It's essentially your heavy-hitting multivitamin. So you take this one a day with food, but why I think is particularly clever is that it's slow release over 6 hours. So there's a lot of B vitamins in there, you got your C vitamins, there's a whole plethora of ingredients, folic acid, iron, but there's iron in a way in which that it doesn't tend to have a negative impact on the gut. By and large, this means that when you take it, say at 6 o'clock this morning, well, your alarm probably went off a little bit sooner, but it's working throughout the day, so you don't just get that, you know, that kind of spruce, you just all of a sudden
Because you see these
get it fed throughout the day.
multivits that you need 2 and 3 tablets and take them through the day and stuff. But this is just once.
Yeah,
it's got everything packed into one tablet.
Pretty much everything in it, just to give you, like, I suppose if you're feeling lethargic or stressed, or it's just, you know, January and you just want a little bit of a pep in your step and a bit more of, like, you know, get up and go, then this is an ideal way to do it.
Now,
very clever.
We see this everywhere. Number 7.
Free and vegetarian free. Yes, so number 7 is Boots' own range. Let us not forget. So the science, the data is is there. This is their Pure Retinol Night Repair Cream. Now, you spoke about this earlier, whether you believe in New Year, New You or not, but what I do feel this is upping the ante in January when you really want to kind of take that control for your skin. This is the perfect time of the year to really get vitamin A into your skin. So vitamin A, which is what retinol is, should I say. So essentially, it's when you want to really bring vitamin A into the skin, why would you want to do that? Lines, wrinkles, pigmentation, redness. If you feel that any of those pieces are something you're looking at thinking, oh, I think I'd like to help myself a little bit with this. Vitamin A or retinol is what it's commonly spoken about. That's what this particular product is. So it's a nighttime product. It's encapsulated. And what that essentially means is anyone that's read anything, excuse me, about vitamin A will know that it can at times cause sensitivity or irritation, like can exercise.
Yeah.
When you all of a sudden start doing it, you get a few muscles that are sore. It's not that it's bad, it's just you have to work through it.
Yeah.
The same can happen with this, but what Number 7 have done very cleverly is they've put it into kind of like a little oil capsule. So as in you don't feel the oil, but the science is delivered in a way that when you put it on, your skin really takes to it quite carefully and gently.
It's pure retinol. Is that different than you see other retinols?
I need to do a whole vitamin A section. So it's a brilliant question. So pure retinol is essentially meaning that it's very proud of himself. But it is a brilliant question. Retinol is essentially one of the fastest acting form of vitamin A's you can get in an over-the-counter product. So that's what that is.
Retinol and retinol is a retinoid. You know, I'm always hearing retinoid, retinol.
Yes. It's all part of the vitamin A family tree.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, people shouldn't freak out if they start putting it on and it flakes off a little bit, maybe starts so that you don't have to go to work the next day or you're not going out. Your skin will get used to it.
Do you know what? I should probably do a whole vitamin A segment because there's so much within it. But what's clever about this, to answer your question, is that you can use this nearly every day immediately because of the ingredients that are in it, like shea butter and the way it's delivered. It doesn't actually cause that irritation or sensitivity. So it's a brilliant introductory vitamin A product. Take photographs, that's what I always say, and there's peptides in that in as well. My last one is because I think this time of the year people love to try to just look after, like I know, Tommy, I'm sure you're desperately trying to find your new foundation for the year.
Yeah,
but this is Note Cosmetics, which I love as a brand. It's all about, you know, empowering women and talking about beauty inside out, which is a very clever way to do it. But this is a medium buildable to high coverage foundation. It's got your silky satin finish, extremely affordable, which is something that I'm always a big fan of. But I think in January more than ever, we're quite conscious of what's left or not left in the bank.
Oh my God, there's a lot of that product.
There's a lot. That's what I mean, Mern. So you need the tiniest amount.
You need a tiny bit.
All over with that colour. They've lots of different colours. That's your zero.
I didn't put on that much.
There's sweet almond oil.
Sorry, Note. You just need a tiny bit. It's going to last you for ages.
Tiniest amount.
On your arms.
But it really, but look at it, like
it's
got like a lovely dewy finish to it. Where sometimes when you use something that's kind of like a medium coverage, it feels like too much.
The ultimate one a day. That is.
Yeah, that's what, inside out and outside in. You're literally practicing it.
Look at that though. Look what it did really quick.
But you know when you're looking in the mirror and your skin just feels tired and you put this on, like it just gives you life immediately.
It's fake tan.
No, it's a foundation. But what Muireann's saying is that usually you need quite a lot of foundation to get coverage. That is the tiniest amount. So to be honest, for $13.95, you get months and months out of it. Beautiful for stress skin.
Jennifer Rock.
New
Year.
Happy New Year.
You'll be able to find Jennifer online doing Ireland Day and Post chats on her Instagram. Now on tomorrow's show, we meet the social media star whose hilarious impressions of Tommy Tiernan and Joanne McNally have nabbed her millions of views online.
And does a new career really mean a new you? We're going to chat to a psychologist with all the answers. We've got that and lots more. We shall see you tomorrow morning.
Bye.